have not proven why it exists. You're saying if it doesn't exist, then this.
Exactly.
That's not an argument
no,
for
that's
it.
actually
No,
actually
it's not.
logical. It's
No, it's not.
yes, it is.
Anyone can like go ahead and like pull up their
You can't have
analogies.
knowledge
No.
without it.
So,
you cannot have knowledge. You cannot sit
so
here and make knowledge claims.
A reason would be some type of evidence or proof that something exists.
It's to the
You have
exclusion of
said
the
that
opposite.
Nope.
Yes,
Let
it
me
is.
Continue.
I hope she's not arguing what I think she's arguing. I really do.
I personally don't think that it's okay to.
So
hurt
it's just a
people.
personal belief. It's just your preference that bad.
I think that. So, are we going to switch to a morality debate, or do you want to stay on the
It's
topic
all the
of-
same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
It's,
it's
it
not.
all again. There's only three legs
No,
to
it's not.
worldviews.
This is
okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, then go into morality.
No, I don't want to go into morality.
Yeah,
We're talking about
we
free
are.
will.
We are.
No, this
Yeah.
is a free will debate.
Exactly. Well, morality entails free will. What are you talking about?
No, you don't have to talk about
Yes, you
morality.
do.
You do not need to talk about
Yes,
that
you
ethics.
do.
This is like, you can
This
talk about
you
this from
do.
a purely neuroscience like
No,
level,
no,
or you
no,
can
no.
talk about it from philosophy.
You're not. You can't come here and debate determinism
Yes,
and
I
then
can.
and then refuse to even
That's
engage with morality and
total
ethical
pivot.
discussions.
Okay.
So this is off to a crazy start already. He's a Christian conservative, and she is I don't know if she's Christian, but she's a leftist feminist, and they're getting into a debate right now on, I think, morality and ethics, but not completely sure yet. But hope this is a good video. Let's see who won the debate at the end.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I feel like I haven't been able to. What causes people to act the way that they do?
It's a series of factors. They have their own human agency. Again,
Can you
nurture
explain
and
that? Any proof or evidence of that?
Will you let me freaking talk? I mean, I say one sentence and you're already cutting me off.
Let him finish if you can. Go ahead.
So again, there's multiple factors that contribute to the way that people exist in the world. Human agency, again, nature and nurture. All these things are included. It's not one or the other. And the idea that we have to just restrict our defense to just one particular one, that's ridiculous. That's not how the world works. It's both and.
Okay.
There's multiple factors that contribute that shape to a human person, their parents, trauma, environment, genetics, all these things are included, but that doesn't deny that people have human agency and free will. And so if free will doesn't exist, you cannot make any moral claim because nobody is morally responsible, nobody is ethically responsible. And this would be true for the history of injustices, this would be true for the patriarchy.
So I just want to keep...
Can I finish a thought? That would be true for patriarchy. That would be true for SA. That would be true for reparations. That would be true for slavery. All these things entail that there is some type of moral arbiter that differentiates between good and bad.
Okay.
Your worldview does not allow that to even occur.
What is this human agency? Like, can you just define it for me? I'm clueless. What is that?
Yeah, for me as a Christian, it's being made in the image of God, Genesis 1:26.
All right, so every human has this human agency. It means you're made in the image of God.
Correct.
And God gives you this human agency, correct?
Being made in the image of God, yes.
All right, so if every person gets this human agency, they're given at birth, essentially, right? So what makes some people's human agency act differently than other people's?
We just said there's a whole contributing list of factors.
All right, so the other factors you labeled had to do with nature and nurture, the biology and the environment. You talked about
those
parents.
are included.
Right. So if these two things that we agreed already are fixed, right, our biology.
They're not fixed.
Yes, they are. You don't control the biology that you inherit.
Your environment changes.
Do you control the biology that you inherit?
Well, biology.
Yes or no?
Biology.
Well, no, you don't control the biology that you inherit. But if you guys don't know, and I'm just going to try to explain this for her or anyone who thinks like her. Biology is on a scale, meaning that it's not a binary number like a 0 or a 1. It's not definitive, meaning that someone may be more prone to substance abuse. That's biology, but that does not mean that they have to give in to substance abuse. Someone may be more prone to aggression, but that does not mean they have to give into aggression. So I get what she's saying. I really do. Nature is more fixed in some areas. Like, for example, some aspects of nature are more definitive, like height and race. They are more definitive. But other factors, such as when you talk about morals or ethics or who's more prone to be successful or who's less prone to be successful, more prone to be a criminal. Some people may have biological factors and traits that are more prone for things such as intelligence, IQ levels, aggression levels, so on and so forth, impulse levels. However, how you act on them is still determined by how you decide to act on them, whether it's your willpower, whether it's your ethical code that you personally have. So I'll just say that He's not necessarily doing the best job of explaining it right now, but let's see how he does.
Is
Yes or no?
fixed.
Okay,
Your environment is not fixed because you can change
Okay,
environments.
so what
that
would
was a dumb
cause- Hold on,
argument.
Guys, let
That
each
was a
other
dumb
finish.
argument.
Let each other finish. Go ahead, finish.
That was a dumb argument because biology, yeah, but we're talking about nature and nurture,
Yeah.
and so environments can actually change.
Okay, so your biology is fixed, right? So what would make someone want to change their environment? Just like, give me an example.
They want new scenery.
Why would they want new scenery?
You tell me. You have to ask them.
No.
You have to ask them.
Okay, right. So if we were look at the reason why someone has a preference for new scenery, we can look at things like just like what they're like kind of exposed to at a young age. For example, like if they grew up around beaches, maybe they would like beaches. Or it could just be like the things that they've been shown like through TV, media, etc. All the stimuli. However, at this young age, where all these core beliefs are being like kind of taught to you and instilled in you, you don't control any of that, right? Your preferences are made at this like a younger age. We see this idea of core beliefs come up a lot in psychology, where like your deepest beliefs about society and yourself, who you are, this illusion of free will and the self comes about a lot of times when you're younger, right? So even now when you have the agency now to change environment, which you don't really have that agency when you're like 2 years old, let's say you're like 20 and you can move, that preference that we're talking about to change scenery or to fly to Paris comes from determined, right, like circumstances. That's what we're saying. In any given event, we keep asking why you wanted this thing or why you did this thing. It is either coming from like some internal, like some nurture, right? Something like that has been like experienced, or from someone's biology. That's what we're saying. And once again, this human agency, you haven't explained in any regard how this thing, like if it's first of all, if it's given to you from God, how is it yours? Like, how did you choose your human agency? Number one. And number two, when we look at how it interacts with your biology, if biology affects your human agency, we know that that's fixed, that's already out of your control once again. So it comes down to the same
That doesn't
problem.
mean that, again, but that's a non sequitur. There's a logical non sequitur to say just because your biology is determined, that limits or curtails all human agency. That makes no sense.
What is human agency? It's your
The
design.
ability to have free will, the ability to make decisions, rational deliberation, moral responsibility,
Can you define
love. These types of things actually insinuate free will.
You're begging the question in defining free will. Free will
No,
is
I'm
free
not.
will. Agency is agency.
That's not begging the question.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Human agency and free will mean the same thing. Can you give a distinction?
Exactly, but my
So you're
point
saying
is
human agency is human agency,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
and you're not explaining
I'm saying human
any reason
agency-
why we have that.
Okay, I'll make an easy argument here. You cannot have rational deliberation, you cannot have moral responsibility without human agency and free will. And
definitely
therefore,
can't have-
let me finish.
Sorry, yeah.
And therefore, you can actually not have a universal epistemology or make universal truth claims. You cannot make moral and ethical truth claims, which is the point, and that's why you're already shying away from getting in any type of moral ethical debate, because you have no leg to stand on in regards to deliberating and differentiating why, white people did this in history, why this is bad and this is unjust. You have no basis to actually
Right.
define those.
Okay, so once again, you still have not proven why it exists. You're saying if it doesn't exist, then this.
Exactly.
That's not an argument
no,
for
that's
it.
actually
No, it's
actually
not.
logical. It's
No, it's not.
yes, it is.
Anyone can like go ahead and like pull up their
You can't
logical
have
fallacies.
knowledge
No.
without it.
So-
You cannot have knowledge. You cannot sit
so
here
a
and make
reason
knowledge
would
claims.
A reason would be some
It's-
type of evidence or proof that something exists.
It's to the
You have
exclusion of
said
the
that
opposite.
Nope.
Yes,
Let
it
me
is.
continue. So
I hope she's not arguing what I think she's arguing. I really do. What he's saying does make sense to me. She said he was begging the question by defining human agency as free will. I don't agree with that, but let me know what y'all think. But what I think that she's arguing is that free will doesn't exist. That's what I think that she's arguing right now. I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope I'm completely delusional. That's what I hope, but I think that's what she's saying. If that's what she's saying, that is a crazy take. I don't even understand that take. I don't even understand how someone can draw that take at all. Just because someone has nature and nurture, nature is not binary. People need to stop saying that. That's not true. That is not true. The same way that you can have a baby child, you can have twins and put the twins in different environments. One works out every day. One goes to sleep 9 hours a day. One stands out in the sunlight for an hour, 2 hours a day, takes all their vitamins. They have a higher likelihood of being taller and stronger than their twin, even though they have dang near identical biology. So biology in itself is not binary. It is determined by your environment. An environment is obviously not binary. I don't even understand that argument at all. So what she's saying, I hope I'm delusional. I really do. But I don't think I am. If you're arguing that free will doesn't exist, that it's not a thing, and all our actions are determined by us, our biology, and are determined solely by an environment that we can't control for some reason, you're wrong.
To give a reason for something would be, oh yeah, human agency exists because we can look at this and this proves it. Or
okay,
we can
neuroscience.
Look at, no.
The arguments that demonstrate when people reach a threshold, they're able to stop that.
I didn't get to finish. Thank you. So.
God.
Okay. Anyway,
so
when we look at human agency, you have said that the outcome would be blank. We can talk about moral responsibility. I would love to do that, but human agency has still not been evidenced by you. You're saying that neuroscientists have found, right, that I don't actually know how your neuroscience. We can actually talk about your neuroscience claim.
To the exclusion of the opposite. These are using laws of logic, right? So if free will doesn't exist, you can't have knowledge claims. If you can't have knowledge claims, then if there is knowledge, therefore free will exists. That is and again, I can just use easy syllogisms. Do you have a syllogism for determinism? Do you have a logical syllogism that actually demonstrates?
I do. Actually, I do.
Okay,
I have one in relation to God, but I do want to touch on this neuroscience point. How do you think that neuroscience entails or free will?
Because there's been multiple experiments. This is, again, getting back to David Schroeder's 2012 article, RP as Neural Noise, have demonstrated that when these neurological effects reach the cascade point, that a determinist would say, okay, now they have to do the action. We have multiple experiments to show that people can choose not to. And the fact that they can choose not to do it demonstrates they have some type of agency against the deterministic framework of the brain and neurological processes that you would argue.
Determinists are not saying that you are bound by your inherited biology.
It depends on who you're talking about, and you're making a generalized claim. Okay, so don't say determinist then, because actually many determinists do. I would assume that when you come into this debate and you give me some type of refutation, it's tailored to me and
right. So you've made some general blanket statement and said it replies to determinists.
Well, that just demonstrates human agency. You asked me to demonstrate human agency. Multiple neuroscience arguments do that.
Can I finish?
You just asked me to demonstrate agency. Multiple neuroscience arguments have done that.
This Andrew Wilson debate tactic is so old. There's so many of you.
Andrew Wilson debate tactic?
But anyway,
what are you talking about?
So back to what I was saying. So in regards to determinism in of itself, not all determinists have to entail that I don't think any determinists entail that you can't act differently than in some way your biology predicts. That's not true. And also,
actually, there are some that do.
Well, that's not mean. You're dating me.
I didn't say that. Anyway, did I say some that do, or did I say Xena?
If you're bringing in an argument, it should be a refutation against my point.
I'm saying generally regards the argument.
Okay, I'll bring in an argument. Your point is wrong. They got onto this whole neuroscience tangent. Neuroscience is the study of your brain. That's what it is. And they're trying to relate this back to free will, and if free will exists, and if morality exists, because if free will doesn't exist, then morality does. This has to be a joke. Free will exists. I have the free will to do whatever I want. That's humanly possible, meaning I can't just start flying like Superman or something like that. But I have the free will to do every other thing I want. I don't even understand the basis of this debate. I don't get how this is even a real debate. This is a waste of brain power listening to this, if I'm being honest. This is a waste of time. Here you have two people genuinely arguing if free will exists. This is a joke. This is insufferable. One of the comments said hearing her debate is insufferable. She kept trying to say the guy was wrong by providing no logical arguments to push her views forward. This is just a really weird thing to debate to me. I don't understand why we're having this discussion when it obviously exists in real life. Nonetheless, my name is LFR Jojo. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.